Hey everybody, so today I'm going to walk you through our ridiculous live streaming setup. This is easily the most complicated thing I have ever had to rig up. I think, I can't think of any one particular thing that has been this crazy. We used to stream down in my basement studio, and it is okay if it's just me and Jason and Flux, and we added Benjamin Pickles to the mix. It gets to be a sauna down there. You get all the equipment down there. You get all the dudes down there, all the body heat and the natural computer heat that computers put out, and turns into a sauna. I think that's why we're having all those random reboot problems. Is just because it's too damn hot in there for anything to work. So we thought, hey, let's move up into the living room, and this is the result. I'm gonna walk you through the labyrinth of wires and everything there, and this is as much for me as it is you guys, so I can look back on this when I need to set it up again and remember every little piece of this puzzle. So let's get to it. Alright, well, I guess let's start with the puppets here. We got Flux, whose hand actually fell off, and it wasn't a problem since you don't see these hands on stream. His hand's in a box over there. It's really creepy. So here we've got the little PSP screen. That's his little, what do we call that? His chest up display. It's actually an old PSP game console. This is power to it, so it doesn't power off. That's another little thing going off into a plug somewhere. We've got Jason's microphone here, which goes into a Y splitter. And this, I think it's this one. Does this go off? Yeah, it will be this cord here. This cord goes off into this preamp to give it a boost. And comes out there, and God, this place is a mess from last night. Goes up this cord and feeds into, where is it? I already missed the connector. There we go. Feeds into some adapters, actually two adapters to get it into, this was done so hurriedly. Feeds into these two adapters to get into this 1/8" cable, which feeds up into the little Pico Talk box that we have in here, and that's what makes his jaw flap. Yep, and that's that setup. The other mic cable feeds down through here, back up through here, and goes into our Behringer 404 HD, and that's what you guys actually hear on the stream. I think this is Jason here. He's number 3. And then that goes into the computer via USB, and the headphone out of that feeds into this Nady 4-channel mini mixer through this, and that's where everybody goes into through this. This is game audio. Then the out of that goes into the headphone amp, where we control everyone's headphone volume, what they're hearing, and that's that entire chain for Flux and Jason. Okay, so for Cylon, Zach sits down here. Got his microphone, and similar setup to Flux. We've got a Y splitter. We gotta see which one's going where here. We'll just follow it and see where it goes. We'll cover that. Okay. Now, if we had more time and a more permanent setup, we would tape all these wires down and off and get them out of the way, so you don't have this rat's nest shit going on. Which reminds me of my band days. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna force you guys to sit through me trying to sort that out. One of these goes off into the mixer, just like with Jason, I believe. Zach goes into number 2 over there, same thing there. And the other one goes back around over to here and ends up in our Focusrite. This was kind of a last minute thing. Oh, look at the camera, it focused right on the Focusrite. Very cool. This was, I really don't like putting nice equipment like this on the floor back here, but this was a last minute thing. We needed to control the volume for Cylon's voice, just like we needed to with this thing over here with Jason. So this is just kind of acting as a preamp. It's actually a really nice digital interface, but we kind of got it downgraded it to doing this. We can control how much volume is getting into Cylon's mouth light with this, and then the headphone out of that is going into this, which is a modified light controller, usually used by DJs. This is a power box for it, which has been sort of ghetto rigged up to power this thing. It's all very janky, and the sensitivity knob doesn't seem to work anymore, which we found out the other day. So this entire setup had to take the place of this one knob that broke. Great. So anyway, Zach's voice ends up going into this adapter and then into there, and that goes through an RCA cable over here. Yeah, it's a mess right here. Here we go. And then Zach's voice finally arrives right here, and then we plug that in. Then that lights up Cylon's mouth. And the eyes are just a matter of coming in here, up in his leg, and plugging in the little battery connector. And then you're good to go on Cylon. Can we get focus? Maybe? No, it's not focusing right at all. God damn it. One of the more challenging things was getting the mic sensitivity right, since Jason and Zach are sitting so close together, and I mean we all are. I'm sitting there, Bethany's back there. We had to really put a lot of effort into getting the mic sensitivity just right, so that when Jason speaks, it doesn't make Cylon's mouth light up, and when Zach speaks, it doesn't make Flux's mouth move. And the same for Bethany or I. We had to make sure we weren't going to be setting off the robot's mouth, so it ends up being it was a lot of experimentation, but basically Zach's got to really get in there and mouth this microphone and be right on it. So I'm touching a lot of Zach's spittle right now doing this. I'm going to stop. Same for Jason over there. I don't want to touch Jason's spit. He's I don't know what he's into. So I guess now we'll talk about the camera setup. Now, you can we could just plug in a webcam like that, but even a really nice webcam like this one, I don't know. Maybe I'm just I'm being a snob, but the DSLR camera just looks so much better than a webcam. There's no comparison. So I really wanted to turn our Canon 5D Mark III into our webcam, and there's some problems with that. Problem number one is they'll stop recording after 30 minutes. They'll power off after about 30 minutes as well. If you're not recording anything and you just have it on, aimed at people, it will just automatically shut off after 30 minutes as well. So you would have to basically have a person to stand over here and start recording back up. But when that happens as well, over on your computer in OBS, which is the software that we use to do all this, the camera's going to go black. And it will stay black even if you turn the camera back on. So you have to go into OBS and click deactivate on the camera. Oh, shut up. We don't want that. Yeah, it would look like that. And you would have to go in and right-click here. It's not going to let me right-click on it since it's locked, right? Basically, you'd have to right-click on this, click deactivate, reactivate, and then you'd get the picture back. So that's a problem. But anyway, we found this really cool thing made by Elgato. You can see it down there, called Cam Link. And that'll let you plug an HDMI cable into your computer, and whatever that HDMI signal is can become your webcam. So that's how we got that into the computer. The problem with the shutting off and all that shit, we actually had to install something called Magic Lantern, which is third-party sort of hack software you have to install on your Canon 5D. Weighs the shit out of your warranty if you have it, I believe. And it runs off a memory card. And what Magic Lantern lets you do is just all kinds of crazy shit that the Canon 5D is capable of, but Canon doesn't want you doing for one reason or the other. I believe you can actually shoot in 4K with Magic Lantern. But you install it on there, and you get all kinds of crazy things, and one of them is auto recording after you've hit the 30-minute mark. And the reason that these cameras stop recording after 30 minutes is because of some kind of weird tax thing. I think if you can record for more than 30 minutes continuously, it qualifies as a camcorder or something like that. And Ken didn't want to pay some kind of tax thing to do with that. I don't know. You can Google the situation. It's ridiculous. It's the only reason after 30 minutes this shuts off. So there's that. But you can go in here and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's how we get the camera to stay on. Unfortunately, still after 30 minutes for a second, we get a flash that says movie recording has been automatically stopped. So I'm hoping to find a better solution at some point. Another thing that's really handy about Magic Lantern is, out of the box, the Canon 5D, the little focus reticle here, will never go away. There is no way to get this off of your HDMI signal that comes out. There's just, you could try to move it out of the way and then crop your image over here in the computer in OBS, but you're limiting your frame quite a bit. And Magic Lantern has something called clean overlays that will get rid of that. If we press record, it goes away. It vanishes. And we actually are recording the whole time we're streaming so that those overlays aren't on there. But that's all of the nonsense you have to go through for the camera. Okay, I guess next we'll talk about the backdrop here, our chroma key screen, which is very unusual. It's purple. That's because Flux has green, Cylon has green, Flux has blue. And that's a problem for a blue or a green screen. You might think we'll get a red screen. No, red is going to suck all the red out of my rosacea plagued face and make me look like a corpse, which might be cool, but probably a little distracting. We don't want that. So purple, and that will leave my complexion mostly intact and not make his eyeball disappear, or his coils disappear, or his tie, or his little jewels disappear. So purple, it's got to be purple. Fitting for Twitch, right? So these are our lights to get it evenly lit. We've got some spill lights, some backlights there. That kind of helps with the purple color getting spilled onto Flux there in the computer. And these up here, a lot of this stuff is off our Amazon wish list. These photo stands and umbrellas were off our Amazon wish list. Thank you guys. And these bounce light onto our faces to get us nice and evenly lit. And these actually came with lights that were daylight lights, and that means they're like right dead in the middle on the Kelvin scale, which basically just means they're supposed to be white, but they're kind of blue. So I went to Home Depot and got these lights that are a lot further to the left on the Kelvin scale, and they're going to cast a much more yellow tone. And the reason that's important is because, you know, we've got a particular color spectrum keyed out with this, and if we toss bluish light at the front of us, especially me, my face is going to start to disintegrate and get keyed out, and you're going to see right through my head, which is funny for a laugh or two, but does actually start to make things get a little distracting and annoying, at least for me, this guy. You may not care. And that's another problem we have to fight, is the television. Anytime things have like a big, fade to white or a big flash or anything, it casts white or blue light on us, and we have the same problem briefly. So while we're playing, we actually have to go into the TV settings, and I'm hoping to find a more brilliant solution to this than this crap. But basically how I combat this is I go into the picture settings and I just turn the brightness way down while we're playing, and so far we've managed to not push it so far that we can't see what we're doing, but we get pretty close sometimes. Maybe that's why we were playing like complete jackasses yesterday and just failing at every game we played. I don't know. These are just the stands that hold the purple screen up. Pretty self-explanatory, nothing special here. These are little zip ties. I had to go to Home Depot and get a little custom grommet punching kit for these. This is actually a giant bed sheet. You can't go into Joann's and get something like this because those fabric stores won't give you anything that's more than 4 feet across. So you would have to basically go buy a huge length of it and then sew to your screen together, which is a pain in the ass. And it's going to give you big seams that are probably going to show up in your key. They're going to be a little bit darker naturally, and you're going to have these weird lines going through your key probably. What I usually like to do is get a big substrate, a big board basically, and paint a wall the color you need, green, blue, purple, whatever. And they also don't usually make, you can't go into Home Depot and get, I think 4 feet is probably the maximum width you can get, so you're in the same situation as you are with the fabric. So, the solution is, you go and you paint a wall that doesn't have anything on it. The green screen we have out in Plattsburgh, we actually built the wall to put in front of the wall, and then that's painted green, and then you don't have any wrinkles. It's very easy to light. But this is just a big bed sheet we ordered off of Amazon, and it works pretty damn good. We've got it pulled pretty taut to try and work out all of the wrinkles. You're only really seeing this area of it. You don't see any of that, and most of the wrinkles live off camera, thankfully. That's really it with the lighting. It's easy to go over now, but setting this up is very meticulous and difficult for no other reason than the keying software in OBS is really bad. The keying plugin in OBS is really bad. It's very finicky. It's very high maintenance, which I find strange. If you go into Adobe After Effects, which is a professional grade program, you can not exactly get your chroma key screen lit super well, and you usually just have to click once and adjust a little bit here and there, and you have a really good key. This software that's made for kids to stream video game footage, you have got to nail the lighting on your chroma key screen. It is really dodgy, and even if you get it pretty well lit like I have here, whoops, yeah, those microphones aren't really there. My God, what a bunch of posers. See if I can pinch them. Where are they at? Yeah, little tiny microphones. I mean, this probably isn't coming through on my cell phone super well, but yeah, you get a lot of like spill. It's a very, in my opinion, poor looking chroma key. It's not a good key. And like you have got to really get in there and mess with the settings on that to get that looking anything close to acceptable, and you get all kinds of, it's not going to show on this cell phone footage at all because the cell phone footage is super grainy, but you get a lot of flicker and other artifacting, and it's just, yeah, it really drives me crazy. We're looking into other software to use for a multitude of reasons with OBS over there. My microphone setup, thankfully, very easy. It's just one cord right into the Behringer, and you're all good to go. Bethany was back here for this stream, and we actually wanted to have her have a bit of a robotic voice, and she was voicing the Spybot for us. This is a wish list item that we got from you guys. This is a Roland VT3 voice transformer rather. It's a voice transformer that has a vocoder. We didn't use the vocoder though. We used auto pitch 2, and this is this you can control how pronounced the effect is here with the mixed balance. We went about halfway. If you turn this all the way up, it's going to sound very robotic. Of course, reverb, you don't want any of that on something like a live stream or a podcast, that would just sound really obnoxious and ridiculous. So you can control the pitch here and the formant, which is kind of like the timbre and all that. And there's all kinds of effects on here, but we're mostly just using auto pitch too. And then, so her mic goes in there and then comes out affected and feeds over into here. These are sandbags that keep things from getting knocked over or moved around. It's especially important with lights because you don't want the lights getting messed with, since OBS's software is so really finicky with the chroma key stuff. And I mean, you can tell here it's not really evenly lit. Like, look at that. You know, this light's down here to kind of fill up the middle, but you know, got a much brighter hot spot here than over in here. So really, you would want to get another one up here to aim at it. But yeah, these sandbags are great. They're also here to keep the bots from getting moved around from any jostling that might be going on down here. I don't know what those guys get up to down there, but we don't want them banging around, getting the puppets out of their spots, which are very particular over there in relation to me. I got some more sandbags over there, and a lot of these sandbags are also off our Amazon wish list. Thank you again, guys. This is a little timer we use when we remember to use it that lets us keep track of how long we've been playing a particular game or how long we've been going. It helps us remember when we want to take a little commercial break or whatever. It's actually a gym timer, and there's all kinds of crazy features on here we make absolutely no use of. You just use stopwatch and boom, and then we know we've been playing for an hour and it's time to run a commercial or take a little break or whatever. So that's a real handy little item. Okay, let's go over our game footage setup. We got the Switch here, and this starts off simple enough. HDMI out of our unbelievably, insultingly cheap Nintendo Switch dock. Still bitter about that. And that goes off and feeds into the Elgato Game Capture, which is actually a pretty sweet little device. Then we do HDMI out, and normally that would feed into the TV, but we got all of this set up, and then Rick realized, uh-oh, the TV in the living room has no headphone jack. And if you plug headphones into the Nintendo Switch, it kills the audio going through the HDMI cable, and then everyone on Twitch cannot hear the game audio, and you're very embarrassed, and it's very silly, and you get irritated and distracted. So what I had to do was buy this little doodad, and the HDMI from the Elgato feeds into this, and that allows us to grab the audio and feed that into right here, and then that feeds into the headphone mixer, and then we can control the game audio with this little knob there, and that's how we get the game audio in our headphones. Then the HDMI finally travels out and goes into the TV. Now we got to backtrack. And you guys bored yet? I am. I'm boring myself. It gets to the computer, which is a whole separate thing from the TV, through this really super long USB cable. And it's in there somewhere and feeds into the computer, in the back of the computer back there somewhere. So yeah, and then that gets it into OBS Studio and into the broadcast, and you guys can see the game stuff there. Oh, God. This is one of the little cuffs that I made for Jason to wear, which is supposed to give him similar. I don't know, maybe we'll turn those lights off here in a second. That's really obnoxious. It's like a Bridge of the Enterprise over here. Human arm obviously can't really fit in to a hole that size, so these are a lot shorter. Flux's forearms are actually made out of Crayola crayon piggy banks that we've chopped the top off of. Only place to get them and not pay a ridiculous price. For some reason, they're insanely expensive. And they're made out of the cheapest, oiliest, shittiest plastic I have ever encountered in all my years as a prop maker. I don't know why they're so expensive. I guess they're just rare. I don't know. We would get them at Toys R Us. Toys R Us is, of course, closed now, and we have to really take care of these things. I saw like a pack of 4 of these big crayon banks for like $400 or something insane on Amazon. I don't understand it at all. Anyway, these are little Velcro strips that keep them together while Jason has them on his arms. They are Gorilla welded on because super glue just wasn't cutting it. And these are always kind of a last minute thing. I'm trying to figure out something a little more permanent than these crappy Velcro straps. We've tried a few different things. I tried the little straps that come on the back of baseball caps, and it wasn't really working out. That's why we have these ugly rivets in there. But thankfully, you know, on a stream down in the corner, these little imperfections don't show up, so it's fine. Jason then wears a... Let's turn these off while we're back here, huh? That's better. This one too. Get out of here. Oh, so much better. Jason actually wears these little black sleeves in case we do catch a glimpse of his arm. They're already torn up from all this Velcro they've been around. Jason wears these so you don't see a weird fleshy arm going into the back of this. And then these are gloves that he wears. These are football gloves of some kind. They were the most kind of robotic looking gloves I could track down. I should go leave this out in the neighbor's yard or something. So they just happen upon a glove, and then they feel the heft of a hand being in there. Okay. Those are the sick things I think about. Yeah, and Jason just throws on one of these gloves. And Jason puts on one of these socks, one of these arm socks, which makes him look like a Whitney Houston backup dancer from like early 90s, late 80s, or a early 2000s nu metal vocalist. Of course, you've probably noticed the illusion really doesn't work so well when the puppeteer is having to sit in front of the puppet. At that angle, you get some strange arm angles that makes it look like his elbows are like down here, because I guess really they are. The thing to do would probably be to chop Flex in half right here and create some kind of a rig so Jason could sit directly under him. But that's a long way to go to get the arm illusion working, and we only have one Flux. Do not have the time or resources or manpower to make another whole Flux just for this. I was thinking about trying to make something that would allow us to cut him in half, but then put him back together when we needed to, and there'd be some kind of a seam right there. But let's see if this whole live stream thing continues to be as successful as it was yesterday before we start doing insane shit like that. All right, I still have this on. Well, I'll just rock it, man. Yeah. Yeah, you can actually even see me over there. Perfect. I'm going to walk you through just a little bit of the problems we face with OBS. First of all, at any point, any one of these things could just stop working for absolutely no reason. And not a big deal when you're setting up. You just, you know, close OBS out, open it back up, and magically everything works again. However, if you're in the middle of a stream and you have to do that, your stream goes down and you probably lose some viewers. And if it happens 5 or 6 times during a stream, you're looking at that when you come back live. So that's not great. We had the first 2 channels of this just OBS stopped talking to. That's happened several times. And I spend hours and days before a stream meticulously working all these bugs out so that when we go live, everything is fine. And what happened yesterday when we started the stream, everything was fine. Everything was great. Camera all of a sudden went out of sync. We had to mess with the delay, the camera delay. These 2 channels, OBS software decided to stop talking to. So when we did get the delay worked out and we went live, there was no microphone for me and no microphone for Cylon. So right out of the gate, we had a stream catastrophe. And these are all the different audio things. This is the Behringer. That's our voices. Here we have, I can't read that through my phone. Yeah, just every little element that's in here. This is a custom letterbox I put together. These are Streamlabs stream labels that have to be set up through Streamlabs website and through this little app they have that runs. You can control what these say and do. There's hundreds of them. We just use these simple ones. It's already more clutter than I would like. You have to have this running for those to work. They control these things that, yeah. I don't know if we've been loud enough about this guy's game changer right down here. My phone would stay focused. This is a game changer. Yeah, future's looking a little bit brighter as of yesterday. These are our different scenes. Overcooked, which ended up being reformatted into Mega Man X. We've got Silent Hill there. We've got Overblood. All that stuff. Like I said, guys, I don't want to get too into this because this will absolutely be skull-numbingly boring. But all of this stuff is a lot of work to set up. Those are our little phony microphones. They're just there for visual appeal. The dirty little magic trick. I didn't want to set up any more microphones on here. It's already so nightmarish in here, and it would be banging into those guys. What do you think? It's pretty sexy, right? This is a 3D model that I put together and photoshopped to try to look like the protagonist from Overblood. It looks more like Billy Mays than that guy, but I was more concerned about getting the outfit right. Of course, there's Peepo. We never really came to a conclusion on that. These are all the different elements you're seeing on screen. There's the spy bot, which is, of course, another little illusion. That's me in front of a green screen filming that, and that's on a loop that I created. Let's see what else we got here. Could probably briefly go over the green screen nonsense that goes on with the cam link. Let's go to filters, and we'll go to where are we at here? Chroma key. Yep, and you don't have a lot of leeway here, man, with any of this stuff. You pretty much have to get it nailed in camera and, you know, tweak this a little bit, you know. It's really tough. Again, I don't think this is going to really come through on my phone, how dodgy and grainy a lot of these are. That's tough. And it's also tough to get everyone in focus with the camera because of depth of field. This is a wide angle lens. We have to go very low on the ISO, so the image ends up very dark. That's kind of why these are here. And that allows you to get me in focus and all the way over to Flux in focus. Not a problem with the webcam, but the webcam video quality is pretty piss poor, it being a webcam. So, like I said, any one of these things OBS could just stop communicating with, and the whole stream has a huge problem. Usually you can go into the thing having an issue and just say, what do you go into? Now you go into properties and you go deactivate and then activate, and it comes back to life. If that doesn't work, you do have to just start OBS over. And your stream goes down, and it's just a big shit show. It sucks. I'm looking into software you actually pay for, because OBS is free, and you really do get what you pay for. I don't know why everybody swears by this, man. I mean, when it's working, it does seem fantastic, but it is so unreliable and so unstable. And I mean, I know I do have a lot of USB devices plugged into this computer. And oh my god, we didn't even talk about the computer. This is our new dedicated streaming computer. One of you donated a lot of money, and we were able to finance a dedicated streaming computer. I can't believe I didn't even go over this. Yeah, we were streaming from our iMac downstairs, which is our main workhorse computer for everything we do. And we had to install Boot Camp on it because the Elgato drivers. Elgato just doesn't make Mac drivers for their little capture card that's over there, which makes it a lot more difficult to live stream from a Mac. So installed Boot Camp on our iMac so we could have a Windows installation, and we think it was just getting too hot for the iMac downstairs. We're in a very small studio space. You get a bunch of dudes in there, and it gets too hot, computer overheats, reboots, screen goes black, and not just do you go off the air, but your recording of the stream on your end gets corrupted, and you don't have any record of it. You can go and download off of Twitch or YouTube, where it hopefully got archived, but you don't necessarily have the best quality. You're not going to have the quality of a video file going right into your hard drive anyway. So there's that problem. But this is the new computer, and this is fantastic, guys. This is, especially considering how well things went yesterday with the live stream, or it's probably been a week by the time you're seeing this video. This, again, I know I keep throwing that term around. It's a game changer. There's just some speakers so we can hear what's going on the computer. This is a friend's tablet that we borrowed, and I think it's about dead. Just about. Now, we just started using something called Restream.io so that we can stream to Twitch and YouTube at the exact same time. Restream.io has a very cool deal. Basically, they give you a URL, and in that URL you get, you go to it in your browser, and it combines the chat from all of the websites that you are streaming to. And yesterday I had some talking points and notes for the games pulled up on here. Usually I would want to have the chat here so I could see what you guys are saying real big, but we kind of had a little problem with all of the tablets like we usually do. I ended up watching chat on my phone that I'm currently using to record this on, and that goes there. So chat's here. Some humorous talking points and notes might go here. Zach can watch chat there, and Jason kind of got screwed yesterday, ended up on just a normal phone having to watch chat there. Let's see if we can pull it up here. I can't even get my arm in there, and these are on really weird little clamps on our stands here. Yeah, low battery, we know. This is an older iPad. Okay, yeah, so here, and this is gonna be a bit of a visual disappointment. We don't have a stream going, so there's no chat going. But here we can see what you guys are saying, both on Twitch and YouTube, and any other sites we might want to try to stream to at the same time, which is extremely helpful. Very, very cool. And Bethany had a tablet back here where she was watching and reading everything you guys were saying back there. So I'm sure there's about 5 or 6 other things I haven't gone over that I've forgotten about. Obviously this stuff, this all sucks. I hate looking at this. We can't really, this is our living room. We can't have this. This was a special thing. But since the stream went so well, we do have a room up here that we're thinking we might dedicate to streaming. It's a lot smaller than the living room, but I think we can get by with it. So we're thinking we're gonna convert this room into the dedicated streaming room. And there's Flex's legs. Ugh. And hopefully with this window here, we can keep it cool enough so we don't get overheated. So that is what I'm about to launch into doing, guys. I'm gonna start moving this entire setup up there, and man, wish me luck, because it's gonna be rough. Pow! Oh, it's all gone. This is the next day. I've gotten everything moved up into the upstairs room, and oh my god, this is wonderful. The living room has been restored. These extension cords are getting a nice little workout over here. Juno, our dog, is very happy to run in all sorts of formations through the living room. I'll take you up here. Actually didn't end up putting everything in there. We ended up going in here, because the room was just a little bit bigger. So now the rat's nest has found a new home up here. Haven't quite figured everything out yet, but this is where we're going to be set up from now on, guys. We're going to try to do this at least once a month, maybe a little more. Try to get into a good rhythm. The echoes in here are real bad. So we're trying to finance getting some sound deadening stuff put up here. We need a bigger TV. That's just, I didn't go over that. That's the little monitor we use so that these guys can see what's going on with the puppets and how they need to adjust themselves. There's like a delay on it too, so it's kind of a challenge. It's a fun little game. We'll call it that. All our other TVs are tied up doing stuff. We've got a TV on our wish list. We're gonna hopefully grab it ourselves. If enough time goes by, we're just gonna have to find some way to pay for it. Yeah, it's just basically TV, stand for TV, and some acoustic tiles we need to put up here. If you want to help out, there's going to be a link popping up right there. Take you to our wish list if you want to help us out with that stuff. We would put all of the money we raised during the stream towards that, but really went all in on this and overspent. Honestly, I had like about $10 left in my bank account before we started the stream on Saturday, so need to get caught up and pay that stuff off. So again, Amazon wish list. You guys have been insanely supportive of that. We've got some items up there if you want to help us get into the rhythm of doing this a lot more. And if we do it a lot more, we might become Twitch partners, and you know, prosperous things will happen. But yeah, guys, this is a little update I didn't plan on throwing in. This video is so much longer than I wanted it to be. I'm going to stop droning and get out of here. I got plenty of work to do, getting this all set up for the next one and figuring out what the next game is going to be. But all right, guys, again, thank you so much for the outpouring of support we got during August 11th's live stream. Just incredible. I mean, God, man. Yeah, you guys just never cease to amaze me. That was just crazy. We went in expecting like getting to, we thought maybe we'd get $50 to $100. We did not expect to get over $1,000. That was just crazy. So yeah, I think you guys kind of made Agony Wolf Media history there with that. Anyway, enough. I'm gonna get out of here. I will see you guys on the next live stream.